Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be implementing this wave game framework that we've been building in another project. As you know, we built this in 5.4. We're going to be implementing this in a 5.6 project with some of the fab assets that I've been sitting on for years because you end up getting these things for free over time. And I want basically everything in here. In the future, we may only do the components, but I know that the asset pack that I'm looking at doesn't have a game mode, unfortunately, and it doesn't have any states or anything like that. So I kind of just want the entire folder this time. I could have put the asset in here, but... so we're going to take this entire folder, we're going to right-click it, and we're going to hit migrate. If you're just taking a single asset, like the wave manager, you'll hit asset actions, and then migrate. So we're going to take this, we're going to migrate it, and yes, we're going to migrate all of it. I want all the animations, I want all of the materials and instances, because I want to try to drag some other assets in here, maybe showcase some things, make this look cool. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine, Niagara. Well, yeah, I don't need to do all that. That's already going to exist in the game. Technically, I don't even need level prototyping. I don't need... Maybe I do because I'm using cylinder. I'll just keep it all. I'll just keep it all. Again, I probably don't need half of this stuff, but I did start a blank project for my the one we're doing it in. So now, who knows where you're going to be when you kind of come in here into the content selector. And this is just selecting where you want this to be put. So by default, it's going to be in your user profile, in your documents, and in Unreal projects. By default, that's where the engine puts it. You may be like me, and you may have a separate drive that you generally put things on. Have a whole Unreal Engine drive for bigger projects and doing things. But yeah, no, it's usually going to be in your documents, Unreal projects, and then you're going to select the project that you want to import this asset into. And for me, it is this Blinksto one, whatever. So I'm going to double click that. I'm going to click the content folder, and I'm going to select that content folder. Asset already exists. Would you like to overwrite it? No. Okay, and here we have our sci-fi bio laboratory. I've just added 4-player starts, kind of facing the exits. I will link this asset in the description, as well as probably review the fab page at the end of this video. But it's just a nice little showcase demo map with a sci-fi kind of botany look, right? A sci-fi lab. So we're growing plants and stuff. Anyway, I added the player starts. As we can see from the game mode. If I check the game mode's not overridden. So what I'm going to use is actually just the game mode. I'm just going to world override it. That way it doesn't mess with any of the other. I have a bunch of other, map packs and assets in here. Because this is the playground I use to test things. Right, so we're going to replace the world override with the GM custom. And that's going to make sure that Manny gets loaded into memory. We're just going to save. Wait, it's saved. And now we need to just add a few more things in here because we are using our spawner pads, right? So instead of our wave game frame, our actors, we're going to add some spawn pads in. And I'm going to keep these simple, and I'm just going to continue naming them what they were named, so I don't have to redo the entire data table. So we're going to call this one over here is going to be called East. I'll put North, I guess, in this building. But you would probably name these something more specific, like lab, growery, things of that nature. Okay, and again, I've just kind of placed these in the world. That way you can see what's going on when we decide to play. Now, if I press P, we see that we don't have a Nav Mesh, and we need a Nav Mesh. So I'm going to do this pretty sloppy. Normally, you would want to make sure that this is not so sloppy. You could have a narrow nav mesh for this area that doesn't do what we're about to do. Things of that nature. You could even break it down by areas and give roaming patterns. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with this. But I'm just going to say 2000 by 2000 by 2000, I suppose. So yeah, now that is huge, but way too big. Z200. Yeah, I'll make sure it's just kind of barely hidden by the ground. We'll see the X is actually going to be 8,000 by Yeah, 8,000 by 4,000. I added a nav modifier volume, didn't I? I did. That was supposed to be a nav mesh bounds volume. My bad. 8,000, 4,200. So we will say 8,000, 4,000. Keep it at 200. And that is going to be, yeah, huge. Huge. And we might actually want to make it a little bit taller because it looks like that is heighted up. So we're going to say like 8. Let's say like 1,000, I guess. Should be fine. Now when I come in here and I press P. I press P. There we go. See, I just had to come in here and kind of finagle it a little bit. We're not going to be able to walk through the doors, which is fine. I will maybe go into how to get them to walk through the doors, but they're just going to be roaming their own area, which is why I said you might want to make your nav mesh bounds volume kind of specific to areas. Anyway, now that we have that, and it's also like getting the top, which is not great, but you know, we'll figure it out. Now that we have that, we actually need to assign our enemies, because remember we didn't bring in all of our enemies? We did bring in all of our enemies. So I guess if I just save and press play, this should probably work. Okay, and it did not work. Why did it not work? Let's show the message log. And that's because it's let's go over the error. It accessed none, trying to read the real property of the call function array item to get the pool location. Okay, because we didn't put the pool locator in, right? So we might want to handle that gracefully in the future. But that's something you kind of know when you get in here, right? So for the pool, we'll actually just like put them up here. We'll put them way up here. And that's just where they'll be. They'll still be, I guess, in the nav mesh, but they shouldn't be roaming or anything like that. So we'll just put them up here. I doubt they'll fall through. They're not going to fall through, right? I might have to add a cube. But for now, I think that's fine. So we will try again with the pool locator. Okay, and still nothing happened. So let's check out our spawner details, make sure we actually name stuff right. I want these guys going to the east, that is correct. And this is BP enemy red, that is correct. And this is east. Oh, that's east. Alright, so let's try to find out if they're just not spawning in, or if they're spawning in and... So we do see them spawning in. The problem is their location right now. Where the heck are they? And why are they moving so fast? Are they falling through the map right now? They must be falling or something. I don't know where this enemy thinks it is, but it thinks it's somewhere that it should not be. The same thing, this guy's literally just falling. So they've fallen through our map, which is not good. Maybe if we raise this up, let's try. We'll have to troubleshoot this a little bit, I guess. Okay. So yeah, we just needed them to get up a little bit. We're going to destroy them. And now we're going to be working. So yeah, something to keep in mind, how low... I know I placed all of mine really low, like a nincompoop, but how low these are, I guess, is going to determine whether or not your enemies spawn in the world or just fall off the map because they'll fall through this. That's also going to be ultimately determined by the way that you set up your maps and stuff, so just something to keep in mind. That's why we troubleshoot things, right? That's why we do it live, because you might have just put it in here and been like, oh, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work, man? And I would have been like, I don't know, man. I don't know what you did. And we would have had to spend a couple hours figuring it out. When it was just, you know, these are common issues, things to check for. I always start with the simplest explanation, try to find things. Now that we have these enemies in the world, right, we can see them in the outliner. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and destroy those. I'm going to say stat FPS, and we're just going to show the FPS in here. We will test multiplayer in just a minute, or at least the local multiplayer. So yeah, we have all 5 of the enemies. They're all in this one little hallway. I would say our ping is not great, but I am recording, and we are monitoring. Our GPU utilization is 28 or 98%, just on this little map. So that is definitely a thing that we have to deal with. My laser beam also doesn't help, I'll be honest. Yeah, we're just gonna start mowing down these enemies. Okay, now that we know that is working, I actually want to give my player and my enemies a few different meshes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into enemy black, and I've already imported this asset pack as well. But the only one that gets a skeletal mesh is the goblin. Are you joking? Oh, okay. It is way up here. So yeah, I have all these things in here, and I'm just going to use them. So we have like a ghoul, and we actually want the ghoul full. That's my bad. We want the ghoul full. Maybe it'll work with Manny, maybe it won't. I don't see any ABPs for it specifically, but this is just an asset pack. So we're just gonna like make some of these, you know, different things. So we have ghouls, we have the goblin. Compile save that goblin. I hope he doesn't decide he's gonna be Manny Blue though. I guess he is. Oh well. It doesn't really matter to me that much anyway. Zombie, right? We have a zombie in here. We have a skeleton as well, so we'll put in the skeleton. I think the skeleton has its own ABP for some reason. And the colors are whatever. Again, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just putting some things in here. They're going to be kind of weird with the Unreal Engine colors on them. I'm just kind of putting some enemies in here to, you know, get it done. Did I make the boss? I made the boss a zombie. Okay. Good to know. And as for the player, I'm actually going to import another mesh that I've downloaded. And actually, I think I can do it through the Epic now, since I have internet. Yeah, I could just add this Dark Knight right into the project as well. Wait for that to load up. It'll only take a second. Now we should have that Dark Knight in our project, so I'm going to open up the player, and I'm going to open up the Quinn Simple, and I'm going to search Dark. Yeah. And the Dark Knight, again, has all of its different parts. We're not too worried about that right now. What's Dark Knight full with sword look like? Okay, I think he looks pretty cool. Right? I think he looks pretty cool. Or she. I honestly can't tell. But it looks pretty cool. So yeah, now we have some assets in here. I'm actually going to open up my profiler tool. Okay, I'm going to open up my profiler tool, which if you've never done this before, it's really pretty simple. You see this where it says trace down here at the bottom? I know my Windows is going to get in the way. What I do is I just open the Unreal Insights session browser first. I come back into trace. I say stat named events. That's pretty important. It does make this run a lot slower, but it is very good for figuring out where things are going in your game. And yeah, that's all I'm going to do. Because when I open up my Unreal Insights front end here, you can see all the other ones that I've done. Nothing is recording right now. You can see in the status. And if I play this in a standalone game, which is where you usually want to at least do your first round of kind of seeing what's going on in your game. Normally you do want to package this up and do all that good stuff, but you can see as soon as I open that up, we are recording. So we are live on this Insights session. And I need to just go ahead and make this full screen, and that's what we're going to do. So yeah, we have our Dark Knight in here. I think our Dark Knight looks pretty good. We're going to show stat FPS. We're getting like no FPS, and we want to know why, right? We want to know why we're getting no FPS. We have these odd goblins that are just a mismatch of meshes and materials. The sword isn't actually attached right. There's some ghouls in here. We're just going to play for a minute, try to get everything loaded up, get to the later rounds, and deal with that. See, I just saw a massive frame drop. And I think that was not coming in from spawning the enemies. I think it was coming in from... I mean, maybe we just needed to give the engine time to get fired up. But it seems like it is running a little bit better anyway now. Hopefully the boss spawns. Okay, and yeah, we were not able to spawn the boss, unfortunately. And I think that's because boss is expecting center. I really do. I think that's what I put it in the data table. That's where I say data. Yeah, boss is expecting east, I think. And we put this one in north. Alright, so now that we kind of know what the Unreal Insights tool does, I'm going to start us off on wave 12. And we're just going to run this and see what happens with our FPS. I mean, as you can see, I'm only getting like 70 FPS anyway. We'll show again real quick. But my computer's just kind of capped out. Especially with recording OBS. So I think this is actually honestly probably a decent enough benchmark. Alright, our trace is on. We have spawned our first 40 enemies. And honestly, I did not see a huge frame drop. Now we're going to start seeing a huge frame drop when all of these enemies are running around. Actually, we might even be able to watch these guys kill each other because they can't get off of the spawn pads. That's interesting. And we might be able to watch them start dying because they can't get out of there. We'll go into how to get in and out of there in a minute. But, you know, I don't think the spawner system is actually, wow. It's actually really being a culprit here. I don't think it's hurting anything. These low FPS are not from the spawn system. I will say that. But we're going to find out in the Unreal Insights tool right now. Okay, so now that I've finished that, this is this last trace. You'll probably want to rename yours. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to be this cool kind of loading thing. It loads up. Make it big. And we can see that we are like generally just running high. We are generally running like 50 FPS. Inside of that 50 FPS, if you click on something, you can hit F. If you click on it, you can hit F to focus it. And then you can kind of see what's going on. And it looks like a lot of GPU work, which I honestly can't really help. That's not the point of this video anyway. What we're looking for is actually in the thread, and it looks like we're just waiting for tasks. And we are waiting for, yeah, visibility tasks, it looks like, on the render thread, between the render thread and the GPU. It looks like that's 90% of what's going on here, so we're waiting for the GPU. To me, anyway. If we look in this frame here, so I'm going to click this kind of spike. Outliers don't really matter, like this is me tabbing out, this is, yeah, I don't know, probably tabbing in or out. Outliers I wouldn't worry too much about, especially when you're doing other things on your computer. But again, we're still waiting for the game thread tasks before we like hit the next frame, and then we're immediately hitting the next frame. So yeah, that's the wind pump. That's my computer probably is this wind pump. But largely, yeah, we were waiting for the frame rendering on the GPU. I don't even see. I don't even see like the enemies spawning. I guess maybe it is in the frame renderer, but I don't see it. It's mostly just the scenes and all of the lighting, because it's a showcase map. If you build an optimized map, obviously it's going to be different. But yeah, I don't even see really anywhere that our spawner system is even kind of needing to get taking up resources, right? I mean, the player controller custom took a total of nanoseconds, which is crazy because I thought for sure that all of the AI being on the field is going to cause, which we did somewhere around here, um, yeah, more in the U-tick. I mean, it's taking 6.8 milliseconds, but the render thread is taking 22 milliseconds, right? And that is basically capping the engine loop at whatever the slowest thing is. So yeah, I mean, the GPU is doing a lot of work. Again, the more of this stuff that I see at a time, the less my frames go. Like you could see my frames going lower because I have to look at all of these things. And then if I don't look at all of these things, my frames go much higher. And that's just kind of Unreal Engine. You'd have to really optimize what is being loaded in, how much it's moving around. These look really weird with the epic materials. Like really, really weird. Hey, get off me. So yeah, I don't think that matters. If you want to do it async, do it async. If you don't want to do it async, don't do it async. If you have a problem with async, right, then do it non-async. But I don't think there's any kind of real tangible difference. The only difference is when I'm looking at things, right, and I'm just spinning around and showing you. I didn't do that in the last one as much. But yeah, I don't really see anything in the engine loop that's taking up time. So something I wanted to add in there. Now, a few more things before we exit the video. We wanted to check bosses, but we also wanted to add an AI blueprint class Nav Link proxy. I think we have them that we can do by default and cheese it. I really do. Yeah, we do. So we're going to put a Nav Link proxy in here, and what this does is it basically connects 2 points to navigate. You can get really complicated with this. You can get really do some really cool things with it. But for now, we just want the enemy to be able to go over there, right? So we're going to take point left and put point left over in the green. Okay. That's all we're going to do for these. I'm going to make another one over here. This one's going to go over there. And we're going to make another one. But I guess that's fine. It's a little cheesy. It should be like right in the middle of the door. There. Right in the middle of the door. But yeah, let's test that out, see what happens. Again, I'm only getting like 70 FPS in the editor. So it is no surprise that I am not getting any frames in here. I should actually probably stop running insights. But we wanted to see if the boss spawned. And yeah, now they can get out of there. They can get out of there. They can all run in here and get bundled up in here together, which is great. That is the power of Nav Links. I started on wave 12, didn't I? Whoops. So let's actually stop testing in this. I'm going to close insights. That way my computer doesn't run away. Did I already close insights? I guess I did. Good. Whoops. And what we're going to do is we're going to do new editor window. And then I'm going to close out of that. And then we are going to do 3 players. And we're going to press play. And actually, hold on, I'm going to stop. I didn't want to do that yet. And we're going to go in here. We're going to stop. We're going to go to the wave, and we're going to say we're going to start at wave 9. Because I want to get bosses fixed. Okay. And I want to get bosses fixed. So we're going to press play in here. That way we get the different editor windows. Again, if I try to open all of this stuff in standalones, my computer is not going to like me. So yeah, you, I guess, and then you, I guess. And then, I don't know. You, I guess, I know. You don't need to be anything. So yeah, you are my... Which one are you? Oh, I played net mode standalone. Whoops. Definitely make sure that net mode is a listen server. And now, of course, I'm playing on 3 screens, and I'm still recording, so my FPS is even worse. Video memory is extremely out of budget. But we see the enemy getting annihilated over here, right? Which is good. That's what we wanted. Make sure the clients can still do this. So yeah, in our performance and scalability tools, which is right here in Unreal Engine 6, just looks like the car thing. We're just gonna set this to low because, yeah, material quality level low, good. Because my computer's just running too hard right now, and I don't want it to be running as hard as it is. So we're gonna do that. Much better FPS, right? Even in here, we're getting much better FPS. So I'm gonna like move this one over here. I want him to look this way. Move this one over here. I want him to look this way. Now I can actually test the game a little bit better. And it's kind of nice having some landmarks here. That way we kind of know, we can see what's going on in our game, right? Alright, so where did our remaining 3 enemies end up going? Oh, are they still stuck in here? They can't get past each other? That makes sense. Yeah, and our boss is still not spawning. And I don't entirely know what happened to him. Boss. Did boss, like, spawn through the world? So, okay. Here we go. We got an error. So enemy boss was just not valid. Okay. Enemy boss was just not valid. So I'm gonna go into the here, to where my spawn boss was. It should be spawned. Right, the boss should be getting spawned here. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so the boss did spawn. So yeah, what we need to do now is play in editor. Whoops. Yeah, so basically I return to play is never getting called, which is the problem, right? And let's make sure that we're not tracing. I should not be tracing right now. And let's go ahead and actually also just start spawning a wave 10. I can make this video a little bit shorter. I know this is going to be kind of a longer video in this series, but this is, you know, implementing things and doing stuff. So, to where? Come on, Windows, get out of the way. Get out of the way, Windows. I hate you. God damn it. I want the output log. So, when we look at the log, the output log, which is, you know, a great thing to look at, we see that it failed to spawn because it didn't want to spawn at 000, which is okay, I guess. So I guess something to keep in mind there. If you have 000 as a location that you can't spawn at, then yeah, we need to make sure we're just spawning them at the location as well. And that should clear up that error, I hope. So yeah, that makes sense. And that's why we have an output log here, right? It does make it easy to, you know, see what's going on with your game. There's a lot of good stuff in there that you don't even have to really implement. Hey, there's our boss. We killed him. Yay. So yeah, I would say this is working. I think it's working well enough. I do. I think it's working. I think it's working well enough to end this video. If you have any questions or comments about how to get this working in your project, or maybe you're having a hard time, I hope this video serves as a good reference and guide to kind of help you get started there. Again, this is kind of like a demo map. It's not even remotely made for this type of gameplay. 50 enemies trying to get through the door at the same time. But I am going to showcase these assets real quick before we log. So stay tuned for that. What we used here was we used the Undead pack, we used the Sci-Fi Bio, and we used the Dark Knight. So I gotta find those in my assets. Okay, so now I've opened up all of the assets that we kind of demoed in this video. Again, these are just assets that I had on hand. I kind of randomly picked them and said this is what we're going to use for the project. It'll be generally whatever you decide to do, but maybe you liked some of these assets, so you wanted to check out the sales page, and I will link these in the description. This is the Dark Knight male and female. It comes with this really cool armor set. It's $79. This was free at one point on Fab for a month or one of the 2 weeks. Hopefully you got it then. I think it was free not that long ago, actually. Well, I didn't have internet. Anyway, it comes with really cool stuff, detachable parts, all that stuff. This person also makes tons of other pretty cool looking enemies and armors and weapons. I like the aesthetic here. I think it's cool. So something to check out there. The Undead pack is apparently $49. I also got this for free at some point. It's got the the Lich, the zombie, the skeleton. I probably could have done better showcasing it since I just kind of plopped random materials on there. Whatever it already had is material overrides. But if you add the materials on there, it'll look a little bit better. I didn't see much of a problem with the animations, but I would have to look into that. But this person does all sorts of little things, so little creatures and stuff like that. So if you're interested in those assets, this would be the place to go for something similar. And the Sci-Fi Bio Laboratory, which I also didn't showcase very well because it has a whole sequencer in there to actually view things and do all this cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is here. It's $20 on sale, $40 normally. And it's got some cool sci-fi meshes in there. And this is from Project Zima. They do apparently a lot of stuff. Yeah, so that is our video. Honestly, I'm always looking for a chance to drag some assets out of my packs, so I'll probably do another one of these for generic crafting to actually put some things in the world and see how it runs. Maybe do a little bit of troubleshooting and get it working. Thank you for watching. Consider joining our Patreon. For just $3 a month, you'll get instant access to all of the project files and the videos as soon as they come out. Now, on to the next one.